Adjustable ruler? Band cutting template? Which one's better? You decide. Hey, so you want to cut some bands, right? Well, you're going to need a few basic things. You may already have them. If not, you're going to have to get them. Number 1 is a rotary cutter. Number 2, a roll of your favorite latex. 3, a cutting mat. Cutting them and tying pouches from the very beginning may be intimidating to some. It was to me. I did not know what thickness, what taper. I didn't even know what taper was. I thought, bands just came a certain way. Either they were straight cut or they weren't. I didn't even know. So I bought some from Amazon. After a while of buying pre-made sets of bands, I decided to cut my own and give it a try. The very first way that I tried cutting bands was with this ruler here. This is an adjustable ruler. At the beginning, you're not gonna know what you wanna shoot. Different ammo, different draw lengths. There's lots of variables on how to tune your bands. This is not a how to tune your bands video. This is just explaining different ways to cut bands. This guy here, I think, is a key piece of equipment for learning your taper and learning how to cut bands, essentially having a lot of adjustability. So the way this works, you have 3 screws and you loosen them. Now this guy will move in and out. The taper that I like to use is 22 to 14. So at the top here, you have a listing of numbers in millimeters. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that to where it says 22 millimeters. And then I'm gonna turn this down, or I'm gonna lock it down, make it a little bit tight. Not crazy tight, a little bit. You have to determine your length of your bands. What I did is I measured out 160 down here, because that's the current measurement that works best for me. Do not cut your bands to 160 based on what I'm telling you. Figure out your length, your active length, and go from there. I wanted approximately 14 millimeters. Don't overthink this, guys. It does not have to be down to an exact science, and you'll still be able to get very good results. So once you get your measurements here, this is the wide end, the short end, or the skinny end. You just tighten these screws down. Get your latex out. I'm gonna use the same ruler. I got my taper set, but now I'm gonna get a straight cut. Measure straight over here, get on that 160. Put the top part of the ruler right on that mark there, because that's gonna be where I measured out to my 22 width. Down here at the other mark where I put at 160 is gonna be, the 15 or 14. Butt it up against this black part here, and then you make a cut. So that's one band cut. Now I flip it over here. I do the same exact measurement. Mark it up to the same, press down, get a good clean cut, and now you have a set of bands. Once you get that taper set on this ruler, it does go pretty quick. You're the one who has to set it up, so it's as accurate as you set it up. After you figure out what taper works for you,
you can get a template.
This is a 22 to 14 taper. There is measurements all the way up and down here. On the ends, there's slits that are wide for your rotary cutter to go in and line you up. If you put the 160, which is what I have, and it lands on 160 here, so it shows you your length. Right now, the way it sits, I should just be able to zip along all these lines and end up with bands. So 2, 4, 6. I should be able to get, 3 band sets out of this. So once again, get your rotary cutter. Always watch your fingers, guys. I am not the most careful person on here, and I do not want to cut my fingers. But you grab your rotary cutter, you're going to stick it in this slot here. You're going to want to hold this stuff down, and you just run all the way across. Now if this worked, we should have some bands. So as you can see, the difference is you can cut a lot more band sets quicker, but you're stuck with that taper. But if that's the taper you use all the time, then a template works perfect. Ruler versus template. Both effective, both work. Good for tuning as far as beginners if you don't know what your taper is, and always good to have to try new tapers. If you're cutting a bunch of band sets, which most of us usually do, and you know a good taper that works for you, template for the win 100%. You can knock out a bunch of bands with this. You can even layer up your latex 2 layers and get a bunch of bands cut in literally no time. This guy, if you want to screw around and you want some really weird tapers, or you're just learning at the beginning and you don't know what the hell taper you even like, then this guy. So get them both. Add them to your collection of tools, man. They both will help you, and they both are very effective. Hey guys, stay tuned, because next video we are going to tie a pouch onto these bands.